COVID-19 vaccine saved my life. I mean literally. I'm going for my vaccine today. I've been feeling quite excited about it. My appointment is pretty early, so I'll update you guys how it goes later. So it's actually weird because I'm going for my vaccine before my peers of the same age. In fact, I'm going even before my parents, who is considered an elderly. Yeah, so but it's comforting to know that after I go for the vaccine, it actually helps the younger ones who cannot go for the vaccine because they are vulnerable, but since they are under 16 years old and cannot go for the vaccine, and of course the teachers work closely with them. Yep, so I'm quite relieved to know that, and see you guys later.
Pikachu!
I know I'm not the first few to receive the vaccination, but it's still quite nerve-wracking. Yay! I finished my vaccine. Ta-da! I'm like lifting my arm up every 1 minute to check if I can still move. Yay! Bye. I came to this place at about 10:15, and then the time now is about 11:15, so the whole process took 1 hour. Hi guys, so I'm back home from my first dose of vaccine. So I'm going to tell you about my whole experience. Today I went for my first appointment. I was 15 minutes early, and when I reached I could queue immediately. After queuing for about 30 minutes, I went in and then they asked me a bunch of questions about medical history, and then after which all my answers was like no, no, no. And then the nurse, or maybe the doctor, I don't know if he's a nurse or a doctor, he asked me if I'm ready to take the vaccination. Then I said yes, and then so after about 30 minutes, I went to take the jab, and then they put me in the holding area for another 30 minutes. It was also to monitor if we had any reactions to the drug, and then the holding area was pretty cold, yeah, so maybe you should bring a jacket. If it's your turn, yes. And then they just called me and then checked if everything was alright, and they checked me out. Immediately after the jab, I kept lifting my arm because I have a class to teach tonight, and I was so worried that, my arm would be hurting so badly from the muscle ache, like trying out the steps. And I realized that, okay, I can support with my left arm, okay, this is a bit easier, but it requires so much effort, and then you see I can't even get my elbows to 90 degrees. This, I'm using all the strength I have, and it hurts like mad. I can only bring it to this pathetic level, and one of my demonstration, one of my step later has to be here. So okay actually can I just have to use my left hand to lift it up and then stay there for a little while. is red. Guys, my leg is red. I think the Pikachu is cooked now. Hey, are you okay? So it's day 2 of receiving the second dose of the vaccine. As you can tell, I'm much more energetic today. While yesterday I was actually literally dying. I had no strength. The side effects were pretty bad, I would say. Another heads up to the people who are going for the vaccine. You may not know, okay, if you happen to miss your vaccine like me on the day itself, no worries, don't fret about it. Just go at a later timing. It's actually quite hard to get through their vaccine emergency call center. So chances are, if you really miss your slot, just go at a later timing. You still go through the same queue and it doesn't really matter that much. They will still allow you to take the vaccine. If you do not want to queue, I would highly recommend you to go at a later timing. Alternatively, you can actually look around the different CCs. The different CCs actually have a very varied waiting time because some CCs are awfully crowded or some CCs are really empty. So do your research before deciding which CC you want to go to avoid unnecessary waiting time. Yeah, so basically I reached at 8:45 p.m. sharp. There were no queue, as you can see from my video. There was no queue in the waiting area. I went straight to the registration. Inside the holding room, there was no queue. So after going through the registration, there were a lot of empty booths. The ones where you take your injection, okay? They were all empty. All the nurses, the doctors were free, so they just assigned me to one. And then the nurses asked me a few questions and boom, I'm done. So another funny story was when the nurse was giving me the jab. Before she gave me the jab, she asked me if I experienced any side effects from the first dose. Actually, during the registration, they also asked me the same question, to which my reply was, I just experienced muscle ache. Yeah, and it only lasted for the day itself. So the nurse actually told me that I am going to have a fever that evening, or rather she meant that night. So in my head, I was thinking like, I thought the symptoms were like on a person-to-person basis. How come she was so sure that I would definitely get a fever and definitely get a muscle ache? She said that the muscle ache will last to 2 to 4 days and you will get a fever this evening. And I was like, why are you so sure I'm going to get a fever, right? But apparently she was right. I did get a fever after that. I think everybody agrees that the second dose is much heavier, the side effects are stronger. I could feel it too. On my way home, I actually already started feeling drowsy. When I reached home, it was around 9 plus. Didn't do much, just fell asleep. The next day when I woke up, I actually had really bad headaches. It was like this tension at the back of my head, like a lot of pressure at the back of my head all the way to my neck. Yes, and then I was having muscle aches on my spine. When you had to sit up, it would ache, and even your tailbone aches. It's just very restrictive. And then of course the other parts of my body were aching as well, but that didn't bother me as much as my spine. I think the worst part was my headache and my spine aches. So that was when I woke up in the afternoon. And that same night, right, I actually had to teach class at night. So I was in a very big dilemma because I didn't know whether to cancel class or not, whether I would feel better as in the evening. And this brings me to the most important part of my video. The COVID-19 vaccine saved my life. I was awarded 2 days of rest where I didn't have to feel guilty about anything at all. So for the longest time, I actually didn't rest my body, didn't rest my mind. Okay, every second, every hour, I'll be thinking about my work. If I'm not working, I'm actually on my iPhone notes typing things down. And my brain was just constantly running. I was getting about 3 to 4 hours of sleep or even lesser every day. I was basically extremely burnt out. This COVID-19 vaccine, after taking it right on the first day, it actually knocked me out really early in the night. It's as if like I took some sleeping pills. Okay, I mean, I've taken sleeping pills, I know how it feels. So it really felt like I was on sleeping pills, and then like I just couldn't stay awake no matter how much I try, and I just knocked out. And I actually woke up at 5 a.m. the next day feeling extremely refreshed. It's the same feeling as like when the effects or like the medication, the sleeping pill has ran out, and then you're like, whew, I'm awake, that kind of feeling, you know. Yeah, but of course, because I was still feeling a little bit achy, so I continued sleeping. I didn't wake up at 5 a.m. Who does, right? Yeah, so I continued sleeping. And at the point where I had to decide whether I had to cancel my class or not, I actually felt a lot of dilemma, because in the past, I actually do not take breaks from dance. I mean, for a lot of years now, it has been. Even when I sprained my ankle, even when I had asthma, I was wheezing. Yeah, even when I was like vomiting, I had diarrhea, I had like really bad headaches from not enough rest. All these things, I have never really cancelled class. Even when I was having period cramps, yeah, they are like such a. But I've never cancelled class. I always went for it, tried to give my all. And the idea was that what went through my mind when I was thinking if I should cancel class was that I actually feel very guilty for taking a break, even though I'm really unwell. I had really low energy, and if I didn't cancel class, I would have to force myself to go to the class to provide the energy that I wasn't having. And I really dislike this mindset that I have. I think that I'm really bad at taking breaks, and I need to learn how to take breaks, and I know that it's a problem and I have no solution for it, as much as I'm trying and I'm learning. There comes a point where I have no idea. I always ask myself, do I really need this break, or am I just lazy? I don't know why I always feel the need to be productive 24/7. I think it's a problem. And I'm really glad that like this time I listened to my body and I took the break I needed, because actually in that afternoon when I was feeling all the aches, right, in that same evening, okay, I actually developed a fever and I was feeling like real bad. I couldn't really move out of my bed and I lost my appetite. And I don't lose appetite, you know. Whenever I'm sick, I always eat, because like food is like everything. Okay, I always look forward to what I eat every day. Food is like everything. So I lost my appetite. I didn't even feel like eating. My headache was so bad. And then I still felt really accountable. Like, you know, if I tell people that my vaccine side effect is so bad that I couldn't teach, will people think that I'm like faking it? But all these are in my head. Like nobody is really doubting whether I'm faking it or not, right? So I realized that the problem is not really what people think, but it's really like what I think, which sometimes I feel like I don't really have control over it and I need to gain control over it. Yeah, but anyway, like I'm like exposing how I've been abusing my body for like all this while, and I know there's a lot of you out there who always tell me like, oh, you admire my energy, how I'm able to commit to so many things and do so many things at a time, how I'm really passionate about everything. Like thank you for your acknowledgement. I am very happy that you see my efforts, but the truth is I have a lesson to learn as well. Lastly, to all those people, all the people taking the vaccine or is going to take the vaccine, or you're still deciding if you should take the vaccine, I hope that my experience is not going to change your mind or affect how you feel. I'm just sharing one of the million stories out there of the people who have taken the vaccine. I will attempt to explain why do we have side effects from the vaccine, okay? I'm not a scientist here, so please don't quote me. How the vaccine works is that I believe some of you know they actually inject the virus into your body. But no, they do not inject the whole virus. They actually inject a spike of the virus, which is just a part of the virus. This virus, as it's not complete, okay, a part of the protein, as it's not complete, it is unable to infect your body and give you COVID symptoms. So why are you having the symptoms? It's actually a mechanism that your body has to help you to fight against these foreign spikes. Yes. Okay, so your body antibodies, your body's immune system will recognize this foreign object and then it will do all sorts of things to fight it. For example, it will circulate more blood around the body, your body's heat will increase, which is why you may have fever. Yes, so all this actually helps you, your body is helping you to fight that thing and create new antibodies that next time when a real virus invades, the antibodies would be able to recognize it and fight it and know COVID-19.